Hello, I'm Lost, and welcome to the Sanctuary. So, got some unfortunate news in this episode. I have essentially played and recorded this episode twice. Wasn't intentional, just the first time my recording bugged out, and the second time, sadly, my recording didn't capture any audio. So, it was a less than fun experience to know I'd have to do all this again. That, on top of obviously the delay with the episode, kind of made me put this off a little longer than I'd intended to. But here we are. And hopefully we should actually get it done this time. However, you will notice that since I've already done it...
Damn it, Mark, I didn't steal any pills.
Well, someone did.
Yeah, probably the Watsons. Or anyone else that was smart enough to get the hell out of here.
No one is leaving until I find out who did this. I'm searching every room, including yours.
You've gone off the deep end. Without Laura pulling on your leash.
Watch it.
Check what you want. I didn't take anything.
But yeah, as I was saying, so sadly, because I've played it twice, I sort of know where things are. Don't really think there's a point in me going for all of these notes. I can summarize roughly what they say. That guy you just saw, he's essentially hounding everyone about not making noise, and actually that one was really relevant. I'll go back and read that one. You'll be fine, it's just a little jogging. Yeah, so it's Mark, and as he says, like, clean up after yourself, noisy surface will attract creatures to your location. This cannot happen. Yeah, pay attention to that. Very important for later. But yeah, anyway, I'm heading downstairs to do exactly what he didn't want me doing, stealing pills. Because, you know, why not? Can't get into rooms like this. Should probably not run too much, because even though I'm trying to like speed run everything, it does create a bit of an issue with her having the whole asthma thing. Oh yeah, I won't skip it.
This area's off limits.
Right. Sorry. I just heard someone got into the pills and I was worried. But I'll go. Okay?
Good to see you're finally up. Laura will be glad to hear it.
Creep.
One, she said that audible loud enough that he should be able to hear it. One of my biggest complaints with this game was the flashlight. I don't like the idea of a flashlight in a game like this. I think flashlights are cool, sure, they're necessary, dark spaces and all, but this dies too quickly. I don't know if anyone has actually... I mean, it's a little jab, but I don't know if anyone on the dev team has actually used a flashlight, but they don't die that quickly. So to me, it's just like, yeah. I don't know. It makes for a good effect, you thinking about like batteries and stuff. Oh. But yeah, I don't like how long the flashlight actually lasts. I think it's a bit rudimentary and it makes me not want to use it. And I didn't like how on this little inventory thing, I couldn't put the flashlight in my other hand. Which will be really important. Oh yeah, not skipping. Thought this part was really dumb, but hey.
How long? Laura? What are you... How long have you known? I will not let you hurt another member of my family.
Laura, wait.
Here's the thing. I want to support our character, but we're trying to hide something from her and we fall asleep with the door open with the thing we're trying to hide on the table.
I won't be your prisoner.
It doesn't make the most sense, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't possibly defend... Like, I'm not saying... Ooh.
You were right. It's not safe here. I knew Laura was upset, but I never thought she'd lock you up. Grab your things. I'm getting you out of here.
Okay.
This way.
But yeah, I don't know if it's the story or what, but it really rubs me the wrong way here. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to fall asleep with proof that I'm pregnant on the table, despite me not wanting anyone to know. Despite the fact that that quote-unquote creep literally just said Laura will be glad to hear you're up, which means she'd be paying us a visit. It adds up to how she ended up in our room. It doesn't add up to why we thought, oh, okay, well then I'll just leave it right here on the table and fall asleep so that when she comes in and sees it, I won't be able to do anything about it. And to be honest with you, she didn't want to tell her. So it's like, if we wanted to tell her and she found out early, it's like, oh, okay, fair enough. It's like, no, we went through the effort of not wanting to tell her.
Through here. She'll let you out near the end of this floor.
What about you?
Don't worry about me. I'll meet you at the camp. Just follow the train tracks. Now go.
But...
Alex, please. We don't have time. Mike, they're coming.
Where is she?
I don't know.
I mean, I would think it's pretty obvious.
I told you. I don't know.
Remember that note about silence? Now, I've got to ask, if they want to find me that bad, what good does pushing him actually do? Because now they've put us all in danger, and this is the part where I couldn't really get behind the logic of anyone in this sort of like game. It's like, oh yeah, we're really trying to like survive. It's like, are you? Are you sure? This isn't survivor antics, this is dum-dum antics. Like, now we have to deal with a creature. You're not finding me whilst you're dealing with a creature. So now a bunch of innocent people who had nothing to do with the whole situation are basically gonna die. All because these guys were impatient. But yeah, the pills were another thing. There was a lot of things I wasn't really enjoying. The pills were one of them. I don't really understand a world in where you can only like consume pills when you get them. You can't store them for later, despite us seeing her keeping the nausea tablets. Just seems like really silly to me. Yep. Oh, flashlight. Well, I've not actually used it at all. Okay.
No!
I didn't even know you could die there. I've just been going around making noise. I don't know. After you do a chapter one too many times, and not in like the smooth way where it's like, oh, okay, you're just playing through the game on a higher difficulty. This was my other gripe with the game that kind of got me. I can move this, but I can't move that. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But hey, at least I know I can die here, so there's a bit more. See, this is my thing. Maybe I don't need it, but why can't I take it? Like, who would actually sit on pills and go, oh, well, I don't need it now, so I won't take them? It kind of defeats the whole logic at the beginning of the game, where we were going to find pills in that, like, place where we lost our partner. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too much of a cynic. Maybe I've played this chapter too many times. But because of the way A Quiet Place is designed, like the whole universe, I find if you don't like you really have to make these things matter. Oh, really? Come on. Sad part is, on my other 2 runs of this, I didn't die here. It's actually why I assumed you couldn't. But I admit I've kind of lost my patience a little with this game. Which I can't blame it for my, like, recording issues. I won't say that's its fault at all. But I can say even without the recording issues, there's like a ton of things that I'm looking at and I'm like, no, this shouldn't be a thing. Like, we should be able to move these little cans if we can move the big ones. Just don't see why we wouldn't be able to move this, but we'd be able to move something that size. What I do know is that in these tunnels we should at least be safe because we can't make any more noise than is necessary. But yeah, I don't know. There's a few things I experienced where, like, I look at the story and I'm like, no, this doesn't really make that much sense. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, how about the gameplay? And I'm like, nope, this doesn't make that much sense. And yeah, that's kind of how we got to this point. Which is sad, I think, because I think the game has, like, a really good... Oh yeah, this is how Laura, my baby's grandmother, drew me. So, you know, that's lovely to think about. Pretty sure that's her son. Little family photo. Gun in the drawer, but we can't take it. Yeah, honestly, I kind of wish my first reactions had been caught, because I think those were my best reactions, realistically. I don't know if I said this in episode 1. Yeah, see, this is why I was talking about the flashlight. I don't like how I can't hold the noise thing and the flashlight in 2 separate hands. And the thing is, I would argue it's for balance, but then if I do this, I can hold these 2 in set. So, like, why wouldn't I be able to hold the noise thing as well? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. pain meds that we can't keep with us. But yeah, no, in one of my previous, either in the previous episode or in the little bit in between, which we didn't get to see because it didn't record, I was talking about how I thought this game had a useless audio system, where basically it captures your mic audio and puts it in the game. And I don't know, I would like to say that's cool, but the thing is it's not a multiplayer game, so let's assume I wasn't recording. Yeah. Let's assume I wasn't recording. Why wouldn't I just like not say anything? Which is exactly what I would do. I wouldn't say anything. Now, obviously, if it's used as a noise counter, I could say like, sure, like you yell and then you hide. But I don't see how that would ever be convenient. Like, not in the slightest. And obviously, if I put it on now, where I am talking, it's like, yeah, but then how am I effectively going to talk about things if I have to deal with the fact that I've got to whisper or the game will hear me talking, despite the fact that it wouldn't make sense for the player to be talking because she wouldn't be talking to anyone, she'd be by herself. This, believe it or not, is where I got my first death. And even though we carried heavier things, we can't carry that. Will say though, I am glad this game doesn't make the same mistake of other games of its sort, where like items like a screwdriver continuously like has to be found all over again. So far it's had repeat uses and it's not had a break limit. It's a shame the flashlight couldn't have had the same, or at least had the batteries last. Well, see, that's the thing. When you want to put a mechanic in your game, battery based, especially when it comes to like flashlights, they have to die quick, otherwise you won't use the mechanic often enough for it to be a worthwhile, you know, addition. But the thing is, it's not even like this game didn't have things it could have done with batteries. For example, I'll take that again. For example, this thing in our hand, this phonometer, I'm pretty sure they called it. This could have been a perfect thing to use batteries. I'm pretty sure it's designed off a device I've actually got. And so it would have been a good idea for it, because then it's like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, you can use this to hear sound, but the more you use it, it drains the battery. You need battery replacements for it. That makes sense. It makes no sense that this thing has no battery issues, and yet somehow I'm supposed to expect that the torch, which I switch on for 2 seconds, has battery issues. And I don't know, that contrast really puts me off the flashlight even more, because it doesn't last long, which, as I said, is kind of necessary for the mechanic. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, the flashlight's not going to last long. Fine. But then what exactly is your reason for this lasting essentially forever with no issue? You get my point? It's It's a shame because I think the game really came up with a cool idea here. And I want to give it its flowers, but because they came up with such a cool idea, it doesn't make sense that they then went the flashlight route. Because it's like, well, you've got two things that would need batteries. This somehow never needs batteries. Except, you know, for some sort of plot point, possibly. That was close. Yeah, so except for some plot point, which I do think they will do. I'm not certain, but I am convinced they might try it. That somewhere in this game, this device will either run out of batteries or will no longer be useful, so that we'll basically have to get through an area filled with Death Angels without it. I definitely think they're going to do something like that. Which isn't a bad thing. Oh, okay, that was a mixtape. That wasn't worth it then. I almost died for that. Yeah, I'm not against it. I think it's a really cool idea. The big problem is it's like, oh, this doesn't need batteries, and then the flashlight does. And then let's assume I'm one of those really slow players who takes forever to sort of get through areas. I'm essentially going to be more screwed than another player just because I like to explore. That doesn't really make sense. What, just because I want to see in maybe this area? And the thing is, obviously, if I change the brightness settings, I won't even need the flashlight at all, because I can make it so the brightness settings are so bright that dark spots are visible. But then if I do that, it destroys the mechanic of the game. But then at the same time, it's about me being able to see. So it's like, well, then is that really a mechanic that can really be... Like, I feel like the flashlight should just be done properly with no batteries. Flashlights with batteries just don't seem to make sense to me, because it's like, well, if I turn the brightness up, then I don't need the flashlight, and then I don't need the batteries. That destroys the entire mechanism that you've put in place. And if I can destroy it that easily, then it probably shouldn't be a mechanism in the first place, because there's actually no fixes to that. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't like flashlights needing batteries. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't know why the devs thought that was a good idea. I will still give the game credit for the doors, though. It's such a cool idea. When you think about it, no one's around to really oil these doors. Though, realistically, I would be if I was them. But yeah, that's a cool idea. I don't know. It's a shame, because I do think this game has come up with some good ideas. I just think some of the methods they've gone about it are so roundabout. Like here, for example, I've got to step on glass to get over this. But somehow that's not what gets noticed. He gets noticed. And so we jump over, and this glass makes no noise. But that's definitely glass. Oh yeah, right. The red LED, or LED rather, LED. The red LED at the top of the thermometer is something that apparently I could turn off or on. If it's on, basically, it tells me how aware the monster is of me. So when it went to 2 earlier, it's because the monster was essentially looking for me. I have no idea what happens when it gets to 3. To be fair, I think it did get to 3 when I died, but I wasn't really paying attention to that. Again, why can't I just pick up and move the can? I don't know. I won't keep complaining about the fact that the interactivity seems limited. Only problem is this is the part where I may die. It's my least favorite part because I feel like the AI hugs to you too much. Like, it almost seems as good as the Alien Isolation AI, but then it doesn't. Because it feels like, the thing with Alien Isolation is we know the alien knows we're there. Because it's hunting us. Whereas the Death Angel is not actually aware. Yeah, face the creature. The Death Angel isn't aware we're here, it's just hunting sound, so... And you'll see what it does later. But essentially it keeps sticking to the areas I'm in despite me making no sound to get it there. Also, this asthma pump makes noise. So, you know, pills would have been better for that. My pump makes noise. Still here, move. See what I mean about the path he takes? He was strolling backwards and forwards here continuously. No issue. Now all of a sudden, he's passing the place where I would likely want to go. And that was necessary because don't worry about that making noise. And that's probably my second issue with this game. It really decides what sound it wants to matter and what it wants not to matter. And sometimes it can be a little too technical with it. But yeah, that was part 2, or what I'd initially hoped for part 2 to be. And I guess I'll leave it here, but I'll start recording part 3 now, here in a bit. And you'll probably receive that like tomorrow or something. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a good day.